Hi everyone. I'm Lino. Sorry that I have to cover my face and use AI voiceover. I live in an environment with heavy censorship, and even accessing YouTube is considered illegal, not to mention the fact that I sometimes criticize certain actions of the government. Here, if your views don't align with the mainstream narrative, you live in fear, so I have no choice but to protect myself. In today's video, I want to take you on a deeper look into how online censorship in China actually works. It's not just about deleting posts or banning accounts. It has evolved into a highly systematic mechanism for shaping public opinion and managing social emotions. To make sense of it, I'll break it down into 4 parts. Who is being targeted, where the red lines are, how enforcement works, and what this system is doing to society and culture as a whole. Part 1: From blanket control to precision targeting. In the past, China's online censorship operated like a giant fishing net, wide, blunt, and generalized. But today, it has become highly targeted. The primary focus now is on people with large influence. Big bloggers, live streamers, online personalities, and major content creators with millions of followers. The logic is very simple. The bigger your audience, the more political responsibility you must carry. These creators are told that they must develop what officials call a sense of political awareness. In practice, that means when public issues arise, their opinions must align with the official narrative. Even neutral policy commentary can suddenly become misleading if the tone sounds too pessimistic. I've heard creators describe the experience like this: "The problem isn't that I don't know what I can't say. The problem is, one day, something I used to be allowed to say suddenly becomes forbidden. And that uncertainty creates a constant sense of fear." Part 2: The 13-point negative content list. A set of red lines that are tight, vague, and open-ended. This rulebook doesn't just regulate behavior. It reaches deep into values, ideology, historical narratives, and social interpretation. Let's look at a few examples. The first involves phrases like lying flat, burnout, giving up, or materialistic mindset. Officials see these ideas as harmful to social morale. But for many young people, they're simply a way to cope with reality. With unaffordable housing, rising pressure, unstable jobs, and the feeling that no matter how hard they work, life doesn't improve. Yet even expressing that frustration can be treated as spreading negativity. Yes, you heard right, complaining is not allowed either. Another line forbids misinterpreting national policies. In practice, that means there is now a monopoly on policy interpretation. Finance, housing, education, social issues. Only one narrative is considered legitimate. Sometimes we see the same dataset explained in 2 different videos. A grassroots analyst speaks too honestly, the video disappears. A state outlet publishes the exact same conclusion, and it becomes the official perspective. Finally, topics involving gender conflict, class inequality, or social tension are quickly muted once they generate public resonance. So instead of solving problems, the system simply turns down the volume on them. Part 3: Enforcement. Less about law, more about psychological conditioning. The most powerful part of this system isn't punishment, it's uncertainty. Creators often receive a vague message like, "Your content violates relevant regulations." No explanation, no reference line, no appeal outcome. And when the rules are unclear, people begin to self-censor. One creator once told me something that stuck with me. "They didn't silence me directly. I just slowly learned to stop speaking." Because an account isn't just a hobby. For many, it represents their income, a company, their team's livelihood. A ban doesn't just remove content. It wipes out someone's economic foundation. So eventually, silence becomes a survival strategy. And sometimes, control extends offline as well. Large gatherings or entertainment events are canceled for safety reasons. But the real concern is preventing emotional momentum. from turning into collective action. Part 4: The Collapse of Language. When people must speak in code to tell the truth. To avoid moderation, people begin reshaping language, using euphemisms, homophones, abbreviations, inside jokes. Over time, Chinese internet discourse turns into a puzzle of hints, metaphors, and coded speech. But now even coded language is being targeted. And the consequence is deeper than censorship itself. Language loses its ability to describe reality. Truth becomes fragmented, and people slowly learn to stop saying what they really think. When saying the truth becomes risky, society shifts toward saying only what is safe. This creates not just silence, but a systematic distortion of reality. My personal reflection. Many people think censorship is just a technical tool, but in reality it shapes how an entire generation thinks. When people grow up under uncertain red lines, they learn to avoid debate, disagreement, responsibility, and independent judgment. Public space loses diversity. Only one tone remains, one voice, one emotional register. On the surface, it looks orderly, but beneath that surface, there is distance, isolation, and quiet disconnection. If we imagine the internet as a theater, then today's online environment in China resembles a theater wired with electricity. The audience can clap, but they cannot question. The script on stage is written elsewhere, and the power line runs quietly beneath every seat. So the applause grows more synchronized, but people's hearts drift further apart. All of the above are the reasons why I no longer speak on domestic online platforms. I sincerely hope that this kind of censorship will not appear on YouTube. Maybe the real question isn't, what are we not allowed to say? The real question is, when more and more things cannot be said at all, how much truth is a society still allowed to keep? If you'd like to share your thoughts, feel free to leave a comment. As long as conversations still exist, silence doesn't have to be the only option.